Worlds Apart, Chapter 2. Kang Chul has some questions. Chul turns and sees a hooded man lift a gun toward him. No, the man is not just hooded. The man has no face. The moment hangs, as if forever. The faceless man is an impossibility, and his appearance out of nowhere is too. Something here is wrong. As Chul waits, willing the man not to act, the moment continues to stretch. Chul, heedless of the man now, turns to look up the sky and the world around him. What is happening? He asks aloud, the growing sense of being somehow under scrutiny only growing. Why are you doing this to me? How is your father? Mom asked when Yeonju returned home at lunchtime. Is he eating any real food? It wasn't surprising Mom figured out where she'd been. It was more surprising to see her. Lunchtime was the busiest time at the health clinic where she was a massage therapist, but maybe they'd given her Monday off since she'd worked the weekend. I don't know. He was drinking hard last night. I tried to suggest he see someone, but I botched it. Once she'd been good at this kind of thing. He is difficult, but he loves and cares about you very much. If you don't give up, you'll find a way to talk to him again. Yeonju stared at her mother, wondering how she'd managed all these years with both her and Dad acting like fools. How she'd stayed kind. I divorced your father because I realized he had no regard for my opinion, her mother said gently, reading some of this in her face. He was hurting you as well as me, but when I took that stand, it changed him. Not wholly for the better, but you two have always connected in a different way. This reminded Yeonju of her father's cryptic retort to her, saying his creativity needed a rest. Mom, Dad said something about me killing my creativity. What did he mean by that? Don't you remember writing and drawing? You did it all the time as a kid. Sure, I did fan art and wrote bad scripts for dramas. That's normal. All my friends did that too. Her mother got a funny look in her eye, almost stern. She got up from the table and went into her room, returning with a long, thin box, reused from a dress shirt. She handed it to Yeonju and said, If I didn't know you'd already undergone a battery of tests, I'd tell you to have your memory checked. I can't believe you've forgotten this. Yeonju opened the box, revealing some flower pressing projects she'd done, looking significantly the worse for wear after 20 years. Her mother impatiently lifted those away, revealing a sketchbook. Yeonju lifted the top pages up to the clearly well-thumbed spot a third of the way in, as if muscle memory was acting. Kang Chul's yours, her mother said. Yeonju stared down at the typical mama-style drawing of a princely young man, and, without permission from any conscious part of her, her eyes began to fill with tears. Kang Chul has to defend himself against this faceless attacker. He knows, also, his friend Do-yoon always turns up to help him in the moment he is needed. Except, lately, sometimes that moment seems to pass without the proper outcome. And this antagonist is both less and more than anything Chul's dealt with before. So he turns away. Instead of looking back over his shoulder, instead of running toward his car, he walks into an alley he's never been in before. No one is around. There was always someone around. He keeps walking away from the pull in his mind that always makes him so certain about what to do. When he reaches the end of the alleyway, when he comes into an open street again, he spins quickly to see what is hanging over him. Something seems to loom just out of eyesight, but Chul can't catch it. He grits his teeth against the sense of wrong, not following his compulsion to go back to his car, and stares at his surroundings. It dawns on him slowly that on this street there is nothing in the store windows. They are clean but blank. No one is on the street, and there's no sign anyone ever has been. The bustling city suddenly seems flat and preposterous around him. I am going crazy, he thinks. But it's not just me. This city has gone crazy. This time he shouts, Hey! Up there! Stop doing this! Yeonju frowned against the tears developing in the corners of her eyes. Ugh, I don't know why I feel sad about this. I really don't remember much about it. Her mom pulled the sketchbook out and set it on the table. We were all so impressed, you know. You grew up drawing with your dad, but that year you seemed to really find something. Your father saw this drawing and asked you about the character. When he asked if you had plans to draw a story about him, you said you didn't know. You gave him permission to use him if he wanted. If you forgot about it, it's because you were in exams for high school that year. and then your dad and I divorced." Her mother's voice was calm, but the slight care with which she chose her words conveyed a lot. "It really hurt to see you stop doing art, but it made sense you'd be bitter about your dad. When you decided to go into medicine, we were impressed. Your father has his pride about his work, and he pretends to think art is the highest work a person can do, but really he's got an inferiority complex, which is why he resisted your choice for a while." Yeonju hardly remembered it as a resistance. She hadn't been particularly concerned with his opinion at that point either, though. Her phone beeped. The message read, "Yeoni, I miss you. Heart. Also, you have to come pick up some mail." "Mom, do we have any food I could bring to Sukbum? I need to go to the hospital." She showed up with her grandmother's kimchi, store-bought kimbap, and day-old fried rice, but Sukbum still acted as though she were his savior. "Why are you still living like a resident?" she asked him, then listened with half an ear to his answer. When he started talking about the surgeries he had done in the last several days, she was more interested, but after a few case histories, he seemed to realize she was currently more a guest than a colleague. "So are you counting down the days till you get back?" "No, but I'll get there." There was a dull pause. Then she excused herself, taking the mail he'd collected and heading back out. He assumed she was still touchy. Apparently she was, since she was still having dreams about that emergency surgery, but... She came up short in the lobby thinking, that's him. The young man in her dream had appeared in front of her. But he wasn't bleeding, as far as she could tell, just looking somewhat lost in the hospital entryway. She could see why Dream Self thought that it was the man she loved. He looked just like her teenage fantasies. Tall, slim, a boyish face with full lips. Had she seen him before, though, to dream about him? Maybe he had been in the hospital before. She turned toward the back exit where she'd parked in the doctor's lot. "Oh, Yeonju?" Yeonju spun and bowed swiftly as her former residency supervisor caught up to her. "Did you try to sneak back out without saying hi? Shameful," said Supervisor Buck. "And I was just catching up on your father's webtoon. Tell him I think that Kang Chul and Yoon So-hee need to hook up and get it over with." Over his shoulder, Yeonju saw the same young man rooted in the middle of the lobby, and now he was staring at her.